Hey, welcome back to From Scratch Ranch in our Modern Farmhouse Build. Jason here, and we are almost dried in. The house is framed up, the roof is on, the windows are in, we're just short our exterior doors. Those still have to be installed. But once those get installed, then we will be dried in, and that will be the end of this phase of the build, and we'll move on to the next phase, which will be the plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and such, starting with the plumber. The plumber will be here next to do our top-out plumbing. So before he gets here to do that, I thought I would share with you all some of the interesting features about this house that we designed in, some of the materials we used, maybe some of the mistakes we made along the way here and have had to fix, or some modifications that we made because it just didn't seem to work out the way we expected. So stay tuned. So let's start with windows. Yeah, windows. We have a lot of windows in this house. We wanted to maximize our view of the outdoors because we have such an awesome view, both on the north side here out over the valley, and then also on the south side where our horse arena and all the horses in the barn and everything's at. So we've just got, all around the house, lots and lots of windows. This here was supposed to be a big window wall. At least that's what I had envisioned. I wanted here was a solid giant window wall, but that is super expensive. So we went with, our architect helped us design this with just multiple large size windows here. And then upstairs, some even bigger windows. When you're upstairs in the loft area, looking out over that view there, it's just pretty spectacular with those giant windows. And it, even though it's not a window wall, it still gives us that feeling of being able to see as much as we can outside. So, love the windows. Now, over here, we have this giant sliding door. And that was in the architect's plans, that was just a bank of windows and kind of a seating bench. This is our eating area of the kitchen. And I made an executive decision with Kristen, my wife, when we were picking out our windows for here. We made the change of making this just a giant sliding door here. We can open both those doors up out onto the deck there, and we'll eventually screen that in, just to be able to keep that open and just bring the outside in here. And I am really, really happy we made the choice to do that. It's so much better than having just a bank of windows there, because you can see this just opens up nice both sides. This is a 12-foot door. Each one of these glass panels is 3 foot wide, so we have a big 6-foot opening in the center there. And that just opens that up really, really nice. So these sliders were definitely a little more money than the 4 windows that we had budgeted for here. But what we did is we made some concessions with these other windows here, where originally the architect had these designed as fixed over awning, and the bottom awning part would crank out, provide nice airflow through there. Same with the upstairs loft windows. We decided to change that to these single hung on the ends that we can open and provide the same airflow. They're a lot more economical, plus they're more standard. So the lead times on those was the normal lead time versus the fixed over awning, which is custom and was like a 26-week lead time. So we really, really benefited that way with the cost of those to help pay for this giant slider we have here. So in the end, our budget came in right on budget, even with the upgrades that we had here. So over in the kitchen here, opposite of that big sliding glass door and that view out over the valley, we have this giant window in the kitchen here. We really wanted the view out over, the barn and the horse arena and all that. So our sink is gonna be right here in the middle. So we'll be able to look out at the arena and Makayla riding, and it's just a great view, out over this kitchen sink here. Now, with this big window here, we did sacrifice, the space for upper cabinets, because we're gonna have a double oven over here, and on the other side will be the refrigerator. We might have a small cabinet up there. But that's okay. That's why we put in this giant walk-in pantry over here, where we'll have a lot of stuff there, and then plus all the lower cabinets on that wall. And then we're gonna have a really nice size island right in the middle here. So all of those lower cabinets we'll have plenty of storage, for our needs here. So one of the things I really didn't anticipate with this design here, which I'm surprised I didn't anticipate it, but we tend to compartmentalize our vision of these rooms in the rooms themselves, and not this. Standing here at this island in this kitchen, and the sliding glass doors out the eating area, and then the windows back in the great room, that just awesome panoramic view all the way around there. It's a nice big wide view with all of those windows. I never put the two together like that to envision that just really wide view outside. Okay, over here in the entryway, so our foyer. It's a pretty good sized foyer. One, we're gonna have a nice staircase going up through that opening up there, and it's gonna be a floating staircase, so that mono beam down the center and these giant wood treads all the way up. Really, really cool. Can't wait to see that. But also we made this area bigger because we needed a place to put our baby grand piano, and this seemed like a really good spot to do that, like right over in that corner. And then these really big windows, again, more just big windows. So we have this great view, out over our property there. So that works there. And then the front door here is a double door, 6 foot wide by 8 feet tall, and 3/4 glass. So just like that door right there, which is a mahogany door, and it'll be stained. It's a 3/4 glass, but that door right there is only a 6'8" door. So it's too small to fit that opening. So that's the first mistake, just some communication errors that have occurred, with the supplier and whatnot. So hopefully we'll get our real door in soon and get this closed in, and that will also look really, really nice with those big glass windows in that door there. Okay, let's head over into the master bedroom here. There's a few window features in here. Just basically in the master bedroom, again, and nice big windows there, looking out over the arena and the barn and our property there. And then obviously some windows on both sides of the bed there, looking out towards our trail in the woods. And then we have over here our bathroom. And we do have some smaller windows on each side of the vanity, bringing all that natural light and a view out over the valley there. But more importantly here, back in the corner, we have our kind of windows on both sides here, because this is where our soaking tub's gonna go. So we have a really nice big soaking tub gonna go there for Kristen to take her bath and look out that window there, out again at that really, really cool view out there. We don't have to worry about anybody looking in unless they got a really spectacular telescope out there, but I'm not really worried about that. So that leads me to maybe our second mistake. And this mistake right here is really on me for not doing enough research ahead of time for our soaking tub. The architect drew the soaking tub in a diagonal right here, and it was just kind of a pop-in diagram of a tub with the drain and the water lines as part of that at the end of the tub there. Well, we didn't do our research on which tub to pick out until after the slab was poured. So I was just unaware, and this is a good point for you to make if you're going to be building a house and having a soaking tub, is that pick your soaking tub out first before you do your plumbing and the concrete. Because the soaking tubs, most of them, the drain is in the middle of the tub, and you want your water in the middle of the tub, in the center, right? And so having the plumbing at the end of the tub doesn't work, because the soaking tubs that do have the drain and the water at the end of the tub, or at least the drain, is at the foot of the tub. Kristen doesn't want to sit in the tub with her head back here and looking into our shower, because that's how that plumbing configuration would be. And so that means we're gonna have to get a concrete cutter out here, cut all this out, and redo all this plumbing so that the plumbing is in the center, the drain in the center, and the water back in that corner there for the floor mount faucet that will come up and into the tub. So that's mistake number 2. And that one, yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in myself that we didn't do that research ahead of time, but it happens. This happens a lot in custom homes. And so just be prepared for that if you are building a custom home, that these kinds of changes are going to need to be made in stuff that's already been done. Okay, the next mistake, the third one here that I'm going to talk about is with the shower. The drain is in the center, just as it's drawn on the architect's plans. But we had talked about doing a linear drain instead. We changed our minds and wanted to go with a linear drain along that back wall there. Well, it never really got fully communicated. There was miscommunication back with the concrete people that poured this, and I didn't catch it. And so it got poured the way it is. And so they've had to cut this all out. And when I made the cuts, they still got to pull all the concrete out. And they're going to have to reconfigure the drain over against the wall there for that linear drain along there. And then they're going to slope this down to that linear drain. That was the other thing that we really wanted, was a roll in or a zero clearance kind of shower here. We didn't want any curb at all, any step in. We want to be able to roll the wheelchair right in there. So that's why they've cut this out, and they'll refloat that down with the proper angles and everything. So that's mistake number 3. Again, rework, more cost. One other thing I found a mistake is in the laundry room area. And this was, I mean, no one's fault. It's just another one of those little details that kind of annoys me that I didn't find it, because I spent so much time planning and studying the plans that the architect had drawn, and I didn't catch this until after it was built. And this is what it is. So in the laundry room, and this might be of interest to you too, because you might have the same issue. So, or you could have the same issue. This is where the washer and dryer are gonna go, right here, all right? And this wall, this exterior wall right here, where there is a door out to the back deck there, that wall, that span right there, used to be up to that first 2x6 right there. So I measured that because I'm like, that doesn't look deep enough for a washer and dryer. I measured it and it was 28 inches. I'm like, well, washer and dryer is 28 inches deep, not including like any gap between the wall and the back of the washer and dryer for the water lines, the electrical, the venting. And so I'm like, that's not gonna work. And on the plans, it wasn't really called out as 28 inches there, but when you do the math of all the other dimensions that were on there, it came out to 28 inches. So this needs to be at least 32 to 36 inches, preferably 36. So that way, when this door is here, the door can open and close and the washer and dryer can be protruding into that doorway. So luckily, we had enough space on this side where there's gonna be some cabinets and our utility sink on that side. So we were able to just cut that out and move that whole door opening there. So they had to move the header and everything over. So, it's not a big deal, but it was an hour of rework, right? And more cost. So those are the kinds of things that just happen all the time in these custom homes like that. You just gotta catch them. I'm glad I caught it now. I would have preferred to catch it, when it was still just studs and not the sheathing on the outside. But, at least I caught it before there was drywall and a door. So we saved on some cost there by catching it a little bit early. Okay, so let's head upstairs. I want to finish talking about the windows before we start getting into some of the other elements of this build. Okay, so the really, really cool feature that I really love up here is these windows. Again, if you've seen on Facebook, I just posted a picture of Makayla standing next to that window and just puts it at a scale that really shows you how big these windows really are. Look at the barn out there. Yeah, those are really, really nice windows. This is our loft or mezzanine lounge area, the architect called it. It's just really the platform in between the two bedrooms up here. But it does give us this really, really cool view of the horse riding arena and our barn, our property. So we'll be able to sit up here in the winter especially, watch Makayla ride, video, whatever. Put some high top tables up here. Be really, really cool. In the other side of the loft here, we have a view out those upper windows in the great room. So the same windows that are on this side, just on that side, and that's looking over the valley out there. And that's on both sides. This is going to be all drywalled. This is the fireplace pillar in the center. So that will be closed in, and we'll have some railings here to make sure we don't, fall down there. But again, the really big windows on that side. And then in the bedrooms, we also did put in some nice big windows, especially on this side over here, looking out over that view. So this is our guest room or my office that I'll be able to sit here and work and look out over that. And then on the other side is the bathroom, and we have some windows just in the bathroom here. Well, obviously we'll put some shades or whatever in there, but yeah. And then the bedroom on the other side is Makayla's room, and it's just a mirror image of the guest room on the other side there in my office. So again, big windows, and it looks like we have a hummingbird that's stuck in there in that glass. Okay, so while I'm upstairs, let's talk about the construction material here. This house is solid. Most of it is made out of 2x6 walls and not 2x4 because, well, for one thing, all the exterior walls are all 2x6. But most of all of the interior walls are also 2x6 because just the design of this house with the peaks, the walls separating these areas, they needed to be 2x6. Supporting walls, wet walls, like in the bathroom, in the 2 bedrooms and downstairs, all 2x6. There are very few 2x4 walls like this here, which is really just the closets. Yeah, mainly the closets and some maybe dividing walls like this that divide the privacy wall for where the toilet's gonna go. That's really it. The center pillar here, which is a big focal point for our fireplace, that's also all out of 2x6 because that is just really, really tall all the way up, and big supporting wall there of all of this. On each side of the fireplace pillar, we have closets. So this one's going to be our mechanical closet where the tankless water heater will go, and then on the other side is a linen closet. And identical downstairs, we'll have a closet on both sides of the fireplace pillar. As far as our upstairs subfloor goes, we went with the Advantech subfloor, the tongue and groove. So that is that. Let's see what else. Yes, so in the vaulted area of the loft, mezzanine area, and our great room is all 2x10 rafters on these 2x6 walls. The beam up in the center there are doubled up 2x14, I believe, Versalam beams that go all the way across. So really, really sturdy. They did use in these smaller above the bedroom area, the roof up here, they did use the 2x8, I believe, or a 2x10 ridge beam up there and the 2x8 rafters. Okay, next I want to talk about our fireplace. What we designed here is really, really cool with the help of the architect. In the center of the house is this giant pillar that goes all the way up. The chimney will go all the way up through there, and it's for our fireplace. So we'll have an insert right here of the Quadrifire Pioneer 3 wood burning insert. It's a pretty good size. It's got a blower on it and a thermostat so we can control the heat. And we're gonna be able to vent that, or ductwork out from that blower out to the rooms on the east and west sides of the house. So the master bedroom and over to the kitchen, mudroom area where those downstairs would typically get cold if we had a fire going here, because that fire, the heat's gonna go upstairs and heat those rooms up there. And these side rooms would get cold because the thermostat for the heater, the heat pump that we're gonna have, wouldn't kick on, right? So by ducting the blower all the way out to the sides of the house on the downstairs area, that'll help heat the whole house evenly, which is really, really cool. Now, to do that ductwork, the floor trusses were engineered in a way where there's this chase down the center of the house, this rectangular chase. So most of the floor truss cavities are all triangular. Then you can see right here above my head, that rectangle one that goes all the way from the laundry room on one side of the house to the master bedroom on the other side of the house. So each one of these floor trusses up here is 24 inches tall. And the ceiling heights of each of these floors is 9 feet. So we've got 9 feet plus 2 feet, 11 feet plus another 9 feet. So we're talking 20 feet before we even get to the top plate there of the vault. And then the vault all the way up to that peak is probably another 10 feet. So we're talking 30 feet up in the air for our ceiling in the great room. Okay, let's head outside. There's a few things I want to show you out here. So our posts, we've got all of these cedar posts. And one thing I noticed, this is a mistake. This one post over here I've got a problem with. The first thing I saw was all of this black. It was like on the bottom of the pile when they delivered it, probably sitting out in the yard. So it got all black, and I'm sure that could possibly be power washed off there or whatnot. But the thing that really got me was right here, it's split. And it's because the forklift, a fork, got into that. So this obviously was on the bottom. The fork got it right there, busted this out, and it looks terrible. So we have another post coming that will replace this one. Another thing to point out outside is the zip system. We went with the zip system. I really wanted to do that rather than a house wrap like a Tyvek. So you can see that the whole house is in zip and been taped and rolled and ready to go. So another mistake that was made, just on accident, it was missed, was this patio, this front porch here. When they pinned the outline of the house and the porch, to lay the block, they were off by 4 inches or so. It was supposed to be right here. You can see on the corner of the house there. It was supposed to be 4 inches in on the house and then out to this corner here because of that Versalam beam doubled up there that's embedded into the corner of the house, coming over to this corner above me, and the post, to come down right onto the concrete here. Well, that was missed. When they pinned this and ran that string line all the way around, they just cut it straight across the front of the house there. So the bricklayer had to come back and put in this 4-inch block here, and then they'll cap this off with more concrete on the top there. And then parge coat, that's another thing. The parge coat is just a concrete mixture that they trowel on over the concrete block to make that much nicer. It's just a more economical way to go than to put some kind of facade on there like brick or stone. All right, so another thing I wanted to point out was the posts in the center here. As you can see, they're doubled up in the middle of the house here. And this is where our great room has all those windows looking out over our view that's out that way. And I didn't want any posts obstructing that view. So for that extra span there with the doubled up Versalam beams and then doubled up posts here on both ends of that, it's a really wide span. I think it's 26 feet or so. So that's why that's that way. And I really, really like that look and not having, posts every 12 feet or so blocking that view. We also did it on the front porch. Let's go there and I'll show you that. So there's that big sliding door there. Yeah, this deck, and we're gonna have a nice, railing all the way around, obviously. It's gonna make it look really nice. While I'm walking over here, I'll show you too that the mistake on the pinning the foundation was made on both sides. So now we're on the west side of the house, and you can see the new concrete block there and the temporary posts still there. So we got to finish that up. Oh, and while we're here, so this side of the patio here is where we're going to have our stairs going up on the back side here. So looking out at the front, you won't be able to see from the front our side stairs to get up to our patio. So that's really, really cool that that's going to be hidden back here. And then we'll have some wood stairs going up to the back deck also. All right, so coming around the front here, towards the front door, right there, you can see the doubled up posts. Really, really cool look. And that really wide span there. Again, huge Versalam beam there to span that big distance, and then the two posts. So that way we didn't have any posts blocking any views out the windows in the front here. Okay, well, I think that's enough for this video. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more to talk about different features, mistakes, and things to point out to you in the future. But we're getting there. This house is getting built. It's looking really, really good. We're getting super excited about the day we can move into here. As much as we do enjoy living in our Barndominium, we would much rather be in the house and let our guests that come stay in our Barndominium. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and hit that alert bell if you want to be alerted to, all the videos that we will be publishing about this modern farmhouse build, about ranching, about our barndominium, horses, chickens, things that we're going to be getting into in the future. So until next time, keep living the dream.